Before the world assigns you a role, take a quiet moment to remember who you intend to become. Before the day's first doubt can cast a shadow on your spirit, whisper your own truth back to yourself. In that sacred space each morning, before the digital tide pulls you under, the words you choose become the architects of your reality. They shape your mind, guide your choices, and ultimately, build your future. What if these words were more than sound? What if they were the very foundation upon which a stronger, more resilient you is built? This is an invitation to harness the power of your own mind, guided by the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, to forge the life you are meant to live. In a world pulling you in every direction, it is easy to lose your way. But Stoicism teaches us that our true power lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering our response to it. If you are ready to reclaim your mornings and fortify your mind, then you are in the right place. Consider subscribing as your first act of intention, a commitment to building the self-awareness needed to rise above the chaos. By joining this community, you are creating a space for growth, for meaning, and for understanding. Let us begin this journey together. I am not who I was. I am who I choose to become. The past can be a heavy cloak, woven from experiences we carry without even realizing it. Some threads are painful, others tinged with regret. This cloak can color the very lens through which we see the world, keeping us tethered to the ghosts of yesterday. But what if you could simply let it fall from your shoulders? What if you could embrace the truth that you are not a static monument to your history, but a living, breathing evolution? Stoicism reminds us that the past is beyond our control. Only the present moment is ours to command. Each dawn presents you with a blank canvas. Yet, so many of us wake and begin painting with the muddy colors of yesterday, convinced we are bound to a story written long ago. But this is the fundamental truth. You are the artist. You get to choose. Every single morning, you hold the power to begin a new story. You are not who you were. You are who you choose to become. And in that choice lies your freedom. Think of yourself as the author, pen poised over a fresh page. You have the power to create a new narrative, to define your next action, your next response. No one else holds the pen. Not society, not your circumstances, not even your former self. The mistakes you made were lessons, not life sentences. They are merely events in time, not your identity. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It is that reaction, that choice to rise, that defines your next chapter. I don't chase. I attract what belongs to me. How often do you find yourself in the chase? Chasing approval, chasing success, chasing a sense of belonging. It is a frantic race on a wheel that never stops spinning, an endless exertion that leaves us breathless, yet no closer to our desire. Have you ever paused to ask why you are chasing? The chase is born from a feeling of lack. It is a declaration to the universe that we are incomplete, that something vital is missing. And the more we chase, the more we reinforce the belief that we need something external to us to be whole. Here, Stoicism offers a profound shift in perspective. It teaches that true abundance flows from within. Instead of chasing what you want, you must focus on becoming the person who naturally attracts it. The act of chasing is a form of resistance. It signals that your goal is distant and elusive. But what if you could simply stop running? What if instead of chasing, you began to attract? Attraction is not born from desperate effort, but from quiet confidence. It comes from aligning with your highest self, from embodying the qualities you wish to see in your life. When you cease the chase, you stop looking outward for validation and begin to cultivate your inner world. This shift doesn't require magic. It requires presence. You begin to radiate an energy of self-assurance and abundance, drawing the right people and opportunities to you not by force, but by resonance. This aligns perfectly with the Stoic concept of virtue. By focusing on your own character, cultivating wisdom, courage, and integrity, you become a magnet for circumstances that reflect those qualities. This is the true law of attraction. It is not merely about wishing for things, but about embodying the state of being that is in harmony with them. This shift is incredibly liberating. It means you no longer have to fight for your worth. You simply focus on your own growth, trusting that as you evolve, your life will evolve with you. I am the author, not the audience of my life. It is deceptively easy to become an audience to your own life, to let the days drift by, waiting for the plot to thicken, for some external force to write the next scene for you. We watch from the sidelines, as if our own story is something that simply happens to us. But the fundamental truth is this: you are not the audience. You are the author. The pen has been in your hand all along, and with it, you hold the power to shape your narrative and determine the course of your future. The Stoics knew that while we cannot control the events of the world, we hold absolute dominion over our response to them. This is where your authorship lies. Too often, we surrender this power, allowing circumstances or the opinions of others to write our script. But you were not born to be a character in someone else's play. You were born to create your own. Life will undoubtedly present challenges, but a great story is not defined by the absence of conflict, but by how the protagonist rises to meet it. You are the protagonist of this story. The Stoics had a term for this mindset: amor fati, a love of one's fate. It is the practice of embracing everything that happens, knowing it is a necessary part of your journey. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle is not a barrier to your story. It is the material from which your story is forged. The moments that test you, that force you to dig deep and find a strength you did not know you possessed, these are the moments where the plot turns, where your character is revealed. These are the moments that define your story. So, as you stand at the dawn of a new day, remember these truths. You are not who you were. You are who you choose to become. Let the past be a lesson, not a life sentence. You do not chase. You attract. Cultivate the garden of your inner world, and watch as the life you desire begins to bloom around you. And above all, know that you are the author, not the audience, of your life. The page is blank. The pen is in your hand. Write a story worthy of your spirit. It is easy to look outward, to point to the external forces that seem to hold us back. But the truth is, the power to overcome these obstacles lies within. It begins when we take ownership of our circumstances and of the choices we make within them. To take ownership is to fully realize that your life, up to this very moment, is the sum of your decisions. This includes the decisions you have the power to make from this moment forward. As the psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl so wisely observed, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Frankl's insight is an invitation to stop searching for answers outside of yourself and, instead, to turn inward. Life will always present challenges, but your response to them is entirely within your control. You can choose to remain on the sidelines, a passive spectator as life happens to you. Or you can step onto the stage, take the pen, and begin to write your own story. But this is where the real work begins. Owning your story requires more than positive thinking or wishful hoping. It demands intentional choices, made every single day, regardless of how difficult the path may seem. It means committing to your purpose and your values, even when the world tempts you in other directions. It means acting with intention, even when the way forward is not clear. And most importantly, it means not allowing fear or doubt to hold you back from taking that next step. The Stoics did not seek to avoid fear. They sought to face it head-on, to accept its presence, and to use it as fuel for the journey forward. As Seneca famously wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The fear of what lies in the shadows is often far more paralyzing than the reality of it. When you step into that fear, when you choose to write the next chapter despite the uncertainty, you seize control of your narrative. This doesn't mean the path will be easy or the road will always be smooth, but it does mean that you will be the one navigating it. And that, in itself, is liberating. It is empowering. The difference between being the author of your life and a member of the audience is the difference between living with purpose and merely surviving. When you choose to be the author, you step into your own power. You are no longer swayed by the whims of chance or the expectations of others. You begin to live intentionally, making decisions that align with your deepest values. Being the author doesn't grant you control over every outcome. Life will still throw its curveballs, but it makes you the one who writes the response. You choose the attitude. You determine what happens next. This is the empowerment that leads to true fulfillment. So ask yourself, are you ready to take control of your story? Are you ready to stop being a passive observer and start being the creator of your own life? The pen is in your hand. No matter where you are right now, it is never too late to begin. The story you've been waiting for is already in progress, and you are the one who decides what happens next. Step into that role. Own your narrative. Start writing today. Your future self will thank you for it. My time, energy, and peace are sacred. The world around us pulls at our attention in 1,000 different directions. Work, family, the endless demands of daily life. It can feel as though our resources are perpetually stretched thin. With the rise of constant connectivity, these demands have become overwhelming. The moment you wake, emails await, notifications beckon, and your attention is stolen before the day has truly begun. We live in an age of constant interruption, where our peace and focus are under siege. But you do not have to be at the mercy of this chaos. You do not have to give away your time, your energy, and your peace to everything and everyone that asks. In fact, you must not. These are your most valuable, non-renewable resources. It is time to treat them as sacred. When we speak of sacredness, we are not referring to a mystical idea. We are speaking of the profound importance of your own time, your energy, and your mental peace. They belong to you. Once spent, they can never be fully recovered. Yet we often treat them as if they are disposable, allowing the agendas of others to dictate how we spend our days and how we feel. This must stop. The Stoics understood this well, placing immense value on mastering what is within their power, chiefly their inner peace. The first step in reclaiming your time and energy is to recognize that they are yours to protect. As Carl Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And to become who you are, you need to protect the building blocks of your growth, your time and your energy. If you are constantly reacting to the needs of others, you will never carve out the space to focus on your own evolution. Think of it this way. If you say yes to every request that comes your way, what becomes of your own goals? What happens to your mental health? They are sidelined. You pour all your energy into other people's priorities, leaving nothing for yourself. Over time, this erodes your sense of purpose and your peace. That is why you must begin each day with intention. Before you dive into the flood of demands, take a moment to set your boundaries. What matters most to you today? Remember, if you do not protect your time, no one else will. This is not selfish. It is intentional. Just as you are told to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others, you must fill your own cup before you can pour into theirs. This is not just a pleasantry. It is a necessity. This truth is supported by both ancient wisdom and modern psychology. Abraham Maslow placed self-actualization at the pinnacle of his hierarchy of needs, emphasizing that to become your best self, you must first tend to your foundational needs, including your mental clarity and emotional balance. We have all heard the phrase, busy being busy, but how often do we pause to ask ourselves what we are truly accomplishing? Are we moving toward our goals, or are we simply reacting to the world around us? Your time, your energy, and your peace are under your control. When you recognize that your peace is sacred, you discover the power in saying no. Saying no is not an act of unkindness. It is an act of self-respect. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness, but being busy is not the same as being effective. When we allow our time to be given away without discretion, we are left drained and depleted. When you set boundaries, however, people begin to respect your time because you have shown them that you value it. You teach people how to treat you. Consider this. How often do you reach for your phone the moment you wake up, letting the demands of others flood your mind before you have had a chance to center yourself? This habit, seemingly harmless, is a surrender of your peace. The Stoics would advise you to begin each day with a moment of inner reflection. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." By starting your day with purpose, you set the tone for your life, rather than letting life dictate its tone to you. Your peace is sacred. It should not be easily disturbed. In a world that constantly demands more, you must be the one to decide what you allow into your space. The more you value your time and energy, the more others will begin to value them too. As you build this practice, you will find you become not only more effective, but more fulfilled. When you treat your time, energy, and peace as sacred, you unlock a power that allows you to live with profound intention. Discipline is my language, and consistency is my superpower. Motivation is a feeling we all crave. It is a spark of energy, a driving force that makes everything seem possible. But what happens when that feeling fades? What do you do when the initial excitement of a new goal dwindles and the challenges of life begin to weigh you down? Motivation is a fleeting guest. It is powerful when it arrives, but it is unreliable. It is like the weather, sunny one day, stormy the next. To depend entirely on motivation is to set yourself up for inconsistency and frustration. This is where discipline enters. Discipline does not care about your mood or your energy level. Discipline is the quiet, unwavering force that keeps you moving forward, especially when you don't feel like it. It is about showing up, doing the work, and trusting that your consistency will carry you where you need to go. For the Stoics, discipline was the unshakable foundation of a well-lived life. And the difference between those who succeed and those who fail often comes down to this one thing: consistency. So many people begin with tremendous enthusiasm. They dive into new ventures with energy and bold plans. But when the initial rush of motivation subsides, they find themselves stuck. What separates those who persevere is consistency. It is the practice of doing the work, day after day, regardless of how you feel. It is pushing through the moments of doubt, exhaustion, and boredom. Consistency is like planting a seed. At first, you see no progress. You water the soil, you wait, and nothing seems to happen. But beneath the surface, roots are taking hold, and over time, something strong begins to grow. Consistency compounds. Every small effort, no matter how insignificant it feels in the moment, builds upon itself. Like a single drop of water carving a path through stone, your consistent actions create lasting change. Discipline and consistency are a form of strength training for the mind. You would not expect to transform your body after a single workout. Likewise, you cannot expect to transform your life after a single focused effort. You must show up, again and again. Our brains are wired for comfort. We instinctively avoid difficulty. Discipline is the act of overriding that instinct. When you push through discomfort, you build mental toughness. You develop the ability to endure challenges without being derailed by them. One of the best ways to cultivate this is to set clear, achievable goals. A specific target gives you something tangible to focus on and makes consistent action easier. And remember, consistency is not perfection. There will be days you fall short. What matters is that you keep showing up. Every time you choose discipline over the fleeting call of motivation, you strengthen that inner muscle. This is why discipline is so powerful. It allows you to break free from the cycle of instant gratification and focus on long-term success. It is the ability to delay gratification, to know that true fulfillment comes not from indulging every whim, but from cultivating self-control. As Epictetus wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This freedom comes from choosing discipline over indulgence, consistency over the short-term thrill. The work is quiet and often invisible, but it leads to visible, lasting change. It is about staying committed to the process, even when you cannot yet see the results. Trust in the process. Trust in the power of consistency. And remember that every small step you take adds up. So, what will it be today? Will you wait for motivation to strike, or will you choose discipline? The choice is yours. And as you make it, remember this: discipline is your language, and consistency is your superpower. Keep showing up, and watch as your life transforms. So often, we are caught in the trap of thinking we are not enough, that we are somehow flawed and need fixing. But the journey of authorship, of protecting your peace, of cultivating discipline, it is not born from a place of lack. It does not mean you are broken. Instead, it is a declaration: I am already enough, but I choose to grow. We have a habit of seeing our flaws, whether real or imagined, and believing the solution is to fix them, to somehow become perfect. We fall into the endless cycle of self-improvement, convinced that we are somehow broken or incomplete. But here is a simple, profound truth. You are already enough. You do not need to fix yourself, because at your very core, you are already whole. You are worthy just as you are, and that worth is the unshakable foundation upon which true growth can happen. Growth is not about mending what is broken. It is about becoming the most authentic version of yourself. Someone who continues to evolve and expand, but without ever losing sight of your inherent value. The ancient Stoics were keenly aware of this. They understood that we are not defined by our past mistakes, our shortcomings, or the fleeting opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius reflected in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This speaks to the very heart of self-worth. We are not defined by external forces, not by what others think, what we have done, or what we have yet to achieve. Our worth comes from within, from our thoughts, our values, our character. And when we truly realize this, we begin to see that we have always been enough. From this place of inner security, growth becomes an act of expansion, not correction. You might wonder, how can I say I'm enough when I have so much I want to achieve, when I look at others and feel I'm falling short? But wanting to grow is not the same as feeling you are broken. It is natural to want to improve, to learn, to expand. That desire, however, should come from a place of self-love, not self-criticism. Growth is not about beating yourself into a better version of who you are. It's about nurturing the qualities that are already within you. The psychologist Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming your true self by harmonizing all the different parts of your being, even the parts you may not like. Imagine the pressure we place on ourselves to fix things that don't need fixing. This mindset leads to frustration and burnout, where we see ourselves as projects under constant construction, never quite finished, never quite good enough. But if we shift our perspective, we can approach growth with a sense of peace. There's a profound difference between wanting to grow because you feel whole and wanting to grow because you feel broken. The first is rooted in empowerment, the second, in shame. The journey of growth is about adding value to your life, not rewriting who you are. You are a work in progress, and that progress comes from embracing yourself at every stage. If we believe we need to be fixed, we create an impossible gap between who we are and who we aspire to be, a gap that becomes a source of constant dissatisfaction. Instead, see your growth as an ongoing evolution. As Aristotle said, the goal of human life is to flourish, to live in a way that is fully aligned with our deepest potential. You are already on your path to flourishing. And remember, this journey is not a race. Society pushes us to compare ourselves to others, but comparison is the thief of joy. Your path is yours alone. Your journey is unfolding in its own time. It will be full of setbacks and detours. But each step is progress, and every challenge is an opportunity. This is the heart of self-acceptance. It doesn't mean you stop striving to be better. It simply means you understand that your worth is inherent, regardless of your imperfections. You are not your mistakes. You are a person of infinite potential, and growth doesn't diminish who you are. It enhances it. When you accept that you're already enough, you start with a stable, confident base. From that place, growth becomes a natural process. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." The bravery to embrace your imperfections is what gives you the freedom to truly grow. Authentic growth is about becoming the best version of yourself, not a different person altogether. It's not about changing your identity, but refining it. As Eckhart Tolle wrote, "You are not a problem that needs to be solved. You are a being that needs to be embraced. And when you embrace yourself, you open the door to true transformation. Your worth is not contingent on your achievements or anyone else's opinion. It is inherent. And from this place of acceptance, growth becomes a fulfilling journey, not a struggle toward some unattainable ideal. So, don't rush. Don't compare. You are already enough. And from that place of acceptance, you are free to become the person you were always meant to be. We live in a world full of noise. Every day, we are bombarded with messages, from social media, from the news, from family and friends, telling us how we should look, how we should act, and what we should believe. These external voices can be so loud and persistent that we forget to listen to the most important one of all, our own. The loudest voice you need to hear is not someone else's opinion of you. It is your own inner truth. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from mastering oneself, from listening to that inner voice and trusting your own judgment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The external world will always try to impose itself on you, but your inner world, the thoughts, beliefs, and values you hold, is where your true power lies. When you align yourself with your inner truth, you remain unshaken. This is the Stoic ideal of tranquility, a state of calm that arises from within. Think about how often we look to others for validation. The more we seek approval, the more we lose touch with our authentic selves. We start to live by the expectations of others and soon lose sight of who we really are. This leads to anxiety, frustration, and self-doubt. But you do not need anyone's permission to be yourself. True fulfillment is not about molding yourself to fit other people's standards. It's about trusting your intuition and listening to that quiet voice inside. Living according to your inner truth requires courage. It is not easy to stand firm when everyone around you is offering advice or criticism. But when you do, something powerful happens. You begin to feel aligned with who you are, and that alignment brings a sense of peace and empowerment. This is where true freedom lies. No one else knows you better than you know yourself. When you start to trust your inner wisdom, you stop letting other people's voices dominate your decisions. You begin to carve out a life that is authentically yours, and when that happens, nothing can shake you. Think about a time you felt conflicted, torn between your own desires and the expectations of others. That feeling of being disconnected is a sign that you were not living in alignment with your inner truth. It's easy to ignore our intuition, but it is always there, quietly waiting for you to listen. When you make the choice to act from that place of authenticity, everything becomes clearer. This alignment is a journey, not a destination. It requires self-awareness and reflection. But every step you take toward living authentically brings you closer to a life of peace. At the end of the day, you are the one who must live with your decisions. Your life is yours to create. The opinions of others can inform you, but they should never dictate who you are. You are the author of your own life, and your inner truth is the compass that will guide you. So, the next time the world tries to tell you who you should be, listen instead to the voice within. Trust it. Know that when you align with your inner truth, you are unstoppable. Pressure. It is a weight we all know. The tight deadlines, the high expectations, the constant demands. At times it can feel overwhelming, like it's all too much to handle. But here is a truth we often forget in those moments. Pressure is not your enemy. In fact, it is one of the greatest teachers you will ever have. It's easy to see pressure as something that crushes us. But what if you saw it differently? What if pressure wasn't here to destroy you, but to build you into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient? When you are under pressure, you are not being punished. You are being refined. You are being shaped into the person you are meant to become. The Stoics embraced this idea. They saw adversity as an opportunity for growth. Think of a diamond. It begins as a simple piece of coal, but under immense heat and pressure, it is transformed into something brilliant, valuable, and unbreakable. You are no different. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, is forging you into the person you were always meant to be. Pressure doesn't break you. It reveals you. And yet, our instinct is to resist. When things get tough, we retreat, seeking comfort. But if you constantly avoid pressure, you will never experience the transformation that lies on the other side. As the philosopher Molière said, "The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it." Every time you push through a difficult situation, you become more capable and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes next. So, how do we shift our mindset? We start by embracing the idea that we were made for challenges. Life's pressure is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal the strength you already possess. This is where faith comes in. Faith isn't just a religious belief. It is a trust in something greater than yourself, a trust that there is a purpose behind the pressure, even when you cannot see it. It is the deep knowing that everything you are going through is part of a larger plan. This is the fuel that keeps you moving forward when the path is unclear. When you feel like giving up, It is faith that propels you, step by painful step. Carl Jung spoke of the importance of having a strong center, an inner conviction and sense of purpose. This faith is your center. He once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Then he added a crucial warning. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. When you look inside, you awaken to the truth that you are already enough, that your inner voice is your most trusted guide, and that you are built for the very pressures that seek to define you. You are prepared for your purpose, and you are empowered by a quiet faith that you are on the right path. Who looks inside awakes. Faith in your purpose and in yourself is the anchor that holds you steady in turbulent times. It empowers you to surrender to the journey, even when the road ahead is shrouded in mist. Without this faith, it is easy to be swallowed by the shadows of fear and doubt. But with it, you can face any pressure with the quiet confidence that you are being guided toward something greater. Faith and pressure are partners in your transformation. When you trust that there is a purpose woven into everything you face, you begin to see challenges through new eyes. They cease to be malicious roadblocks and reveal themselves as sacred stepping stones on your path to becoming. An unshakable inner strength begins to bloom within you, born from the knowing that you were built for these very moments. This pressure from life is not meant to break you. It is here to forge you. With every challenge met by faith and resilience, you cultivate a mental fortitude that becomes as natural as breathing. And this is where your purpose truly ignites. Pressure is not about mere endurance. It is about profound transformation. It's about using every trial as an opportunity to draw closer to the person you are meant to be. The Stoics were masters of this art. They did not simply endure hardship. They embraced it as a chance to live more virtuously, to align more closely with their highest values. They understood that true fulfillment is found not in avoiding challenges, but in rising to meet them with integrity and courage. As Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Just as a gem requires friction to reveal its brilliance, you need the pressures of life to refine your character. Your purpose is often revealed through the trials you face. Each difficulty overcome brings you one step closer to understanding the depths of your own strength and capability. Realize this: your challenges are not random acts of chaos. They are deliberate, purposeful invitations to grow. And when you understand this, the pressure you feel transforms from something you fear into something you welcome. Recall a time you faced the seemingly insurmountable. In those moments, you likely felt overwhelmed, but looking back now, you can see the artistry of that struggle, how it shaped you. It gifted you new perspectives, taught you invaluable lessons, and pushed you to expand in ways you never could have imagined. That is the alchemy of pressure. It reveals the gold hidden within you, forcing you to tap into your deepest strength and build the character you need to live your purpose. So, how do you harness this incredible power? It begins with a profound shift in your mindset. Instead of viewing pressure as a burden, see it as an opportunity. Remind yourself that you were made for this. Trust the process. Trust that even in the struggle, there is meaning. Lean into it. Surrender to it. Let the pressure sculpt you into the masterpiece you are meant to become. And faith. Faith is the constant light in this process. When the path is unclear, when challenges seem insurmountable, faith is the unwavering belief that every obstacle is part of a grander design. It allows you to look at pressure not as something to fear, but as the very force that propels you forward. As you continue to face life's pressures, remember, you are not only built for them, you are empowered by them. The pressures of life are not here to break you. They are here to make you. Embrace them, trust your purpose, and keep moving forward. You are destined to become the person you were always meant to be through the very act of facing it all. I don't fear the unknown. I own the unknown. The unknown. It can feel like a vast, daunting landscape, can't it? A realm of shadows, unpredictable and seemingly beyond our control. When we contemplate the future, it's easy to feel a wave of anxiety. What will happen? What if I fail? These questions can paralyze us, making the unknown a place to be feared. But what if we could shift our perception? What if, instead of a threat, we saw the unknown as a grand invitation? An open space for growth, for transformation, for possibilities yet unimagined. This is a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics recognized the unknown as being outside our direct influence, but crucially, not something to be feared. Their focus was internal, on their thoughts, their reactions, their choices, the only domain they truly ruled. Consider the leaps of faith you've taken in your own life, into the fog of the unknown, only to find on the other side the very ground you needed to grow. History's greatest triumphs were forged in the crucible of the unknown. Think of Thomas Edison, navigating thousands of failures in the dark before illuminating the world. Or Steve Jobs, betting everything on a vision no one else could see. They did not fear the unknown. They danced with it. They understood that greatness is found in the willingness to step into uncertainty and trust the process. As Carl Jung profoundly stated, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." This truth grants us immense power. The unknown is not a monster lurking in the dark. It is a blank canvas, awaiting the first stroke of our brush. Our fear of the unknown is often a far more formidable cage than the unknown itself. So why does it evoke such primal fear? It is woven into our biology, a survival instinct that equates uncertainty with danger. But here lies the paradox. Safety is stagnation. True growth never occurs in the comfortable, predictable confines of what we already know. It happens in the discomfort, in the uncertainty, in the unknown. It is as Franklin D. Roosevelt declared, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." When we step beyond our fears, we open ourselves to a world of opportunity. What if we reframed the unknown as an invitation to expand? This is the Stoic art of turning obstacles upside down. The challenges, the uncertainties, they are not barricades. They are fuel. They are the forces that propel us forward, forcing us to adapt, to learn, to become more. So how do we cultivate this mindset? It begins by transforming your relationship with uncertainty. Instead of an enemy to be vanquished, see it as a space of pure potential. Ask yourself, what new strength could this challenge reveal in me? The second pillar is trust. Not trust that you will have all the answers, but trust in your ability to find them. Trust in your resilience. Build this trust incrementally. Take small, deliberate steps out of your comfort zone. Each small act of courage diminishes the shadow of the unknown. Soon, what was once intimidating becomes intriguing. What was once feared becomes anticipated. Our fear is often rooted in a desire for control. But as the Stoics teach, this is an illusion. We cannot command the winds of the future, but we can always set our own sails. We control our response. So the next time you stand at the edge of the unknown, do not retreat. Step forward. Own it. Embrace it as the pristine canvas upon which your next chapter will be written. You hold the strength, the resilience, and the power to turn uncertainty into opportunity. Do not let fear be your gatekeeper. The unknown is yours. Every no I face redirects me to the right yes. Rejection. It has a way of stopping you cold, doesn't it? A door slammed shut, leaving you standing on the outside, feeling defeated, disoriented, and discouraged. But what if that closed door was not an ending, but a redirection? What if rejection was not your adversary, but your greatest ally? See it not as the end of the story, but as a vital guidepost, gently turning you toward the path you are truly meant to walk. The Stoics understood this rhythm of life. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Rejection is a form of this change. It is not a denial, but a cosmic redirection towards something that aligns more deeply with your soul's purpose. It is easy to become mired in the why, to question our worth. But to linger there is to give a temporary moment permanent power. The profound truth is this: every no is a chisel, sculpting away what is not for you, bringing you closer to the yes that is. Look back on the tapestry of your life. How many times has a closed door opened a window to a far more breathtaking view? Each no is a course correction from the universe, guiding you to a better fit, a more resonant path. The power lies not in avoiding rejection, but in how you choose to respond to it. Will you allow it to define you? Or will you alchemize its sting into fuel, propelling you forward with renewed clarity? And this is the essential truth you must grasp. A no is never a verdict on your worth. It is simply feedback. It is information about timing, about alignment, about circumstances that were simply not a match. To live by the creed that every no redirects me to the right yes is to adopt a philosophy of profound opportunity. Each rejection becomes a sacred pause, a chance to reflect, recalibrate, and grow. When you stop seeing no as a failure and start seeing it as divine redirection, the entire experience transforms. It is no longer an obstacle, it is an oracle. This practice cultivates resilience, that inner grit that allows you to bounce back, not broken, but stronger. Resilience isn't an innate trait, it's a muscle, strengthened with every setback you choose to learn from. There is a lesson hidden in the heart of every no, a seed of wisdom waiting for you to find it. So, how do you move forward? You trust. You trust the process. You trust yourself, and you keep taking inspired action. Let every no empower you, knowing it is clearing the path for your destiny. For a no is never the end of the road. It is merely a stepping stone, and when that perfect, resonant yes arrives, you will be ready for it. I am not behind. I'm exactly where I need to be to prepare for where I'm going. In a world that worships speed, we are constantly bombarded with the illusion that we are falling behind. We scroll through the highlight reels of others' lives, and the insidious whisper begins. You're not keeping up. But this is a race that doesn't exist. Your journey is not meant to be a carbon copy of another's. Your timeline is sacred, and it is yours alone. A redwood does not curse the wildflower for blooming first. Each has its own rhythm, its own season, its own magnificent purpose. To declare, I am not behind, I'm exactly where I need to be, is a radical act of self-acceptance. It is to understand that your current position, no matter how it looks to the outside world, is a training ground. It is the precise place you need to be to gather the skills, the wisdom, and the strength for where you are going next. Every perceived delay is a period of preparation. Every detour is a lesson in disguise. You are not behind schedule. You are in the midst of your own becoming. Trust your timing. Honor your path. You are not just preparing for where you are going, you are being perfectly forged by the journey itself. You are exactly where you need to be. It is a quiet, human fear, the feeling that you have somehow fallen behind. We glance at the lives of others and imagine a race we are losing, a frantic chase toward a finish line that always seems to recede. But the truth is, There is no race. There is only your journey. You are not behind. You are precisely where you need to be, in this moment, on this path. Every experience you've had, every step, every pause, every setback, is part of your preparation for what is yet to come. The timing of your life is perfectly, uniquely your own, even when it doesn't feel that way. Instead of seeing life as a competition, what if you saw it as a craft, a process of becoming? In the moments of reflection, struggle, and quiet patience, your true self begins to emerge. Patience is your greatest ally here. It is not a passive waiting, but an active, powerful trust. The ancient Stoics understood this well. They taught that true freedom is found not in rushing to meet the world's deadlines, but in mastering oneself. As Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery is the art of being patient with your own unfolding, understanding that growth does not happen overnight. When we rush to meet another's timeline, we miss the lessons waiting for us in our own. To compare your path to another's is to compare the first chapter of your novel to the 20th of theirs. Their story is not yours. There is a profound freedom in embracing this truth. I am exactly where I need to be. This is the heart of self-acceptance, not resignation, but a deep recognition that this moment is a vital part of your process. It releases you from the anxiety of the chase and allows you to grow at your own pace. Your perceived setbacks are often just stepping stones in disguise. Once you accept where you are, you unlock the power to decide who you will be. This brings us to a new intention, a daily vow. I rise today to walk like the person I have been praying to become. This is not about waiting for a distant future to arrive. The secret lies in embodying that future self, right now. Imagine the person you aspire to be, their resilience, their purpose, their grace. How do they walk through their day? Begin to walk that way now. Every intentional choice, every small act aligned with that vision closes the gap between who you are and who you are becoming. This is not pretense. It is practice. It is the conscious choice to live by your highest values, building a quiet confidence, a belief in your own power to shape your life. This creates a positive loop. The more you act like the person you want to be, the more you become that person. Close your eyes and see this version of you. Feel their confidence. Hear their wisdom. This is not a stranger. It is the essence of you, waiting to be expressed. But remember, this journey is about progress, not perfection. When you falter, and you will, offer yourself compassion. As Seneca wisely said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom is born from consistent, intentional action, not from flawless performance. As you walk this path of becoming, another truth emerges, grounding you in the present. It is a quiet, powerful affirmation. I am grateful for what I have and excited for what is to come. In a world that whispers of what you lack, gratitude is a revolutionary act. It is the practice of turning your gaze from the horizon of more to the landscape of enough. It is appreciating the simple miracle of your breath, the strength in your hands, the connections that sustain you. This is not a denial of your dreams. It is the foundation upon which you build them. Gratitude for the present fuels your excitement for the future. It transforms the anxiety of the unknown into the anticipation of possibility. When you are grounded in appreciation, you approach the future not with fear, but with an open heart. You build resilience, learning to find the lesson in every challenge, shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. So when the shadow of comparison falls upon you, when you feel the phantom pressure of a race that does not exist, pause. Breathe. Remember that your life is not a timeline to be met, but a story to be lived. trust the rhythm of your own unfolding. Your pace is your purpose. You are not behind. You are here, preparing for where you are going, and that is exactly where you need to be. The future unfolds before you, a landscape filled with possibility. When you approach it with excitement, you don't feel fear. You feel a stirring sense of anticipation. This is where the power of visualization truly shines. When you envision the life you wish to build, you are not merely dreaming of material things. You are sculpting the very person you want to become, visualizing the mindset, the growth, the lessons, and the journey that will lead you to your truest success. Gratitude is the bedrock, the foundation for this vision, while excitement is the vibrant energy that fuels your momentum forward. It is like planting a seed. You nurture it with your thoughts, your actions, and your spirit. The more you tend to that seed with gratitude and excitement, the more it will blossom into something magnificent. These are not just fleeting emotions. Gratitude and excitement for what is to come are powerful tools for aligning your inner world with the reality you wish to create. By focusing on what you are thankful for, you cultivate a deep sense of abundance that acts as a magnet for more of the same. And by staying excited for the future, you generate the energy and drive needed to walk steadfastly toward your dreams. Every single day offers a new opportunity to weave this powerful combination of gratitude and excitement into the fabric of your being. It is a mindset that not only enriches your mental and emotional health, but also flings open the doors to new possibilities and experiences. So today, take a quiet moment. Reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be your health, your relationships, your work, or the simple, fleeting moments that bring you joy. Pause and truly acknowledge the abundance already present in your life. Then, let yourself get excited for what's to come. The future holds infinite opportunities, and you are perfectly equipped to embrace them. Trust in the process, stay grounded in gratitude, and meet the future with eager anticipation. The best is yet to come, and as you walk this path, remember to savor every step, for each moment is a gift. I control my reactions. I don't react, I respond. Life is unpredictable. It sends all manner of things our way, both welcome and unwelcome. Some days, everything seems to click into place. On others, it feels as if everything is falling apart. The emotions that surge in these moments, frustration, anger, disappointment, fear, can be overwhelming. These feelings are not wrong. They are a natural part of being human, an honest response to the world around us. But there is a vital truth we often forget in the heat of the moment. You control your reactions. No matter what happens outside of you, the power to choose how you respond is always, and unequivocally, yours. You are not a prisoner of your emotions. You do not have to let them dictate your actions. The secret to guarding your peace of mind, especially in trying times, is learning to respond, not just react. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the events of our lives, we can always control how we interpret and engage with them. This is the heart of Stoic thought. It is the profound understanding that while external circumstances are beyond our command, our internal response is entirely within it. It is our choice whether to let something drag us down or whether to meet it with calm, with thoughtfulness, and with a grasp of the larger picture. It's easy to get swept up in our emotions, especially when life veers from our desired path. We live in a world that often rewards immediate reactions, quick fixes, and knee-jerk answers. But while a sharp reaction might feel satisfying for a fleeting second, it rarely leads to a positive outcome. When we react impulsively, we often make decisions we later regret. We say things we don't mean or act out of pure frustration, letting our emotions steer the ship without a map or a compass. The difference between reacting and responding is the difference between being a passenger and being the pilot. Reacting is an impulse. Responding is a choice. When you choose to respond, you are choosing to act from a place of calm, reflection, and clarity, regardless of what life throws at you. The psychologist Carl Jung often spoke of integrating our inner world with our outer actions. Until you make the unconscious conscious, he said, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is a powerful reminder that our reactions are often driven by unconscious patterns, emotional triggers, and echoes of past experiences. When we react without thinking, we are running on autopilot. The goal, then, is not to eliminate our emotions, but to become more aware of them. It is to respond in a way that aligns with our deepest values. It is choosing to be intentional, not impulsive. Imagine the difference it would make if you could create a pause, just a few seconds, before reacting in a stressful situation. Instead of immediately firing back in anger or fear, you take a deep breath. You step back mentally and ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? This small pause is where your power lies. It allows you to regain control and respond in a way that reflects your true self, not just a fleeting emotional storm. You begin to recognize that while you cannot control what happens to you, you have absolute control over how you meet it. The Stoics spoke of a concept that can be translated as indifference, not in the sense of being cold or unfeeling, but in maintaining a healthy emotional distance from things outside of our control. When we cultivate this distance, we avoid being swept away by the tide of our feelings. We can still feel frustration or disappointment, but these feelings no longer have to control us. This principle, known today as emotional regulation, is central to both ancient philosophy and modern psychology. Studies have shown that people who can regulate their emotions enjoy better mental health, stronger relationships, and greater success. It means recognizing your emotions, understanding where they come from, and then choosing how you will act. This is a skill that can be learned and practiced, and it is one of the most empowering abilities you can ever develop. A key strategy for this is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment or attachment. When you practice mindfulness, you create a buffer between the external event and your internal response. This doesn't mean you'll never feel upset, but it does mean you'll be far less likely to let those emotions dictate your behavior. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. The reflexive reaction might be a surge of anger, a blare of the horn. But with mindfulness, you can observe that flash of irritation and choose not to act on it. You can remind yourself that the other driver's behavior is beyond your control, but your response is entirely within it. In that moment, you reclaim your power. You choose peace over frustration, calm over chaos. This ability is essential not just for daily annoyances, but for life's greatest challenges. When things go wrong, it is easy to fall into a spiral of panic or fear. But if we can learn to pause, breathe, and choose our response, we open ourselves to a new perspective. We stop seeing the situation as something that is happening to us and start seeing it as something we can handle. Difficulties strengthen the mind, the philosopher Seneca wrote, as labor does the body. Life's challenges are opportunities to build your emotional muscle, to cultivate the ability to remain calm and clear-headed, no matter what swirls around you. The psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl put it beautifully. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This space, this sacred pause, is where true freedom is found. It is where we decide who we want to be. The more we practice controlling our reactions, the more we stop being slaves to our emotions and start becoming masters of our lives. Of course, this takes practice. There will be times you slip up. That's part of the process. The key is to recognize those moments and recommit to doing better next time. Each time you choose to respond with intention, you are forging a new pathway in your mind. Over time, it will become second nature, and you will navigate life's challenges with far greater ease and grace. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, remember to take a deep breath. Pause. Remind yourself that you are not your emotions. You are not your reactions. You are the one who chooses, and that is where your true strength lies. Today is a gift. I will make the most of it. Every morning, you are given something precious. Today. It's so easy to get swept up in the currents of life, to let the hours slip by as we focus on tasks that feel urgent but are not always important. We get lost checking items off a never-ending to-do list, and before we know it, the day is gone. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if we began to treat each day as the sacred gift it truly is? Imagine waking up and acknowledging that today is a fresh start, a clean slate, a chance to build something meaningful. When you see today as a gift, you naturally approach it with purpose, intention, and gratitude. The choices you make, no matter how small, become the building blocks of your tomorrow. This mindset is deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom. The Stoics taught that life is fleeting and that no moment should be wasted. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This stark and powerful thought reminds us that our time is not guaranteed. So why would we waste a single day? Every moment is an opportunity to live in alignment with your values and make progress toward your goals. As the proverb says, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now." If you have been waiting for the perfect moment to begin, that moment is today. When you treat today as a gift, you stop seeing it as just another 24 hours to get through. Instead, it becomes a canvas, holding endless possibilities for you to create, to express, and to grow. But making the most of today isn't just about grand achievements. Sometimes it is simply about being present. In our fast-paced world, we rush through life without truly experiencing it. We plan for the future and dwell on the past, but we forget to appreciate the beauty of what is right in front of us. Epictetus taught that contentment comes not from having more, but from wanting less, from appreciating what we already have. Taking the time to be truly present, whether in a conversation, a walk in nature, or a quiet moment alone, is one of the most powerful ways to honor the gift of today. It's easy to believe that a day's value is measured by how much we accomplish. But what if making the most of today was less about checking off a list and more about experiencing the richness of life itself? A cup of coffee in the morning, a smile from a stranger, a moment of laughter with a friend. These are the threads that weave the tapestry of a life well lived. As Aristotle said, happiness depends upon ourselves. It is found not in some distant future, but in how we choose to experience this very moment. To make the most of today, you must also care for yourself. You cannot give your best to the world if you are running on empty. Investing in your own rest, reflection, and growth is a crucial part of the process. As Seneca wisely noted, "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master." We must first care for ourselves before we can effectively care for others or pursue our ambitions. And finally, making the most of today means embracing the journey, not just the destination. It is in the striving, the learning, and the overcoming that life's true rewards are found. By fully engaging in the present, you open yourself up to a state of flow, where time seems to fade and you feel completely, vibrantly alive. Today is the only day that is guaranteed, and it is filled with endless opportunities. So what will you do with it? The power to shape your future starts right now, in the choices you make and the mindset you embrace. Treat today like the precious gift it is, and it will give back to you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Make the most of it, and watch as every moment becomes a stepping stone to a future filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal. If you found value in this message, take a moment to watch one of the suggested videos on the screen. Keep growing, stay grounded, and remember, the best is yet to come.